Hello, this is Richard with Trust in Parenting. Do you ever get frustrated talking to your children because they don't listen to you? Are you a manager and you can't figure out why the people who work for you don't listen to you, don't respect you, don't trust you, or don't do what you say? What about just talking to a spouse? Things don't go so well when you get home, been a tough day at work? Every single one of these has one common denominator underlying. The root problem to effective communication doesn't lie in multiple test and personality venues that you have to memorize if someone's a red, a yellow, a green, or a blue, or they got a set of numbers that go something like this, 6342 called a Colby, or that you're a concrete sequential or you're a random. None of this has anything to do with it because you communicate visually or you're kinesthetic or you're an audio learner. There are root causes to ineffective communication that we're going to discuss today. And by the time we finish these videos, you're going to have one singular tool that will change your life forever if you implement it and you become a master at it. It will take you a number of videos to get the underlying groundwork laid. But if you stay with it, you're going to find an incredible tool that will help you. So let's get going with our program. You typically wear more than one hat during your sojourn in life. Whether you're a mom, a dad, a spouse, a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a leader, a manager, every single one of us has a need for better communication. If you're a leader, oftentimes you want to know why they're not following. Perhaps it's something you're saying. If you're a mom or a dad, do you ever get frustrated because your kids don't listen to you? Because they don't talk to you? Because they don't ask you questions? Because they look somewhere else for advice, not to you? Just cleaning their room seems to be a major ordeal. What if you're a mentor, if you work for a YMCA or a boys or a girls club, and oftentimes you wonder why the kids don't listen? What if you and your husband or you and your wife don't get along very well? Sure, you don't argue, but you don't get along. You can't talk about certain subjects because they're taboo. Does that ever happen? Or maybe you're not even talking anymore because you can't seem to get along on anything. Or if you're a manager, a middle manager, an accountant, an electrician, you work in the field, you're a construction worker. All of these positions have a critical need for an effective tool that will allow them to communicate what they need, what they want, and where they're going. Without it, you might as well have just jammed up all the system because you can't get any further. I want you to look at this slide. And I want you to count or read the slide to yourself twice. Go ahead, take a minute. If you need to stop the tape, that's all right. Okay, now read it again. Now you have 10 seconds to tell me how many F's are in this slide. All right, how many do you have? If you said, I see 3 F's in that slide, you are like 80% of people who are surveyed. They'll see 3 F's. 2 out of 10 people will see 6 of them. Notice which ones are not seen. The F right here, this one right here, and this one right here. Why are they not seen? Because they're called blind spots. They're pronounced like a V, as in Victor. So finished is an F, of is a V. So our mind is conditioned not to see them. That's called a blind spot. Today's discussion is going to be on blind spots. What if every time you took one step forward, you slid a half step backward? Is that something you'd want to know you're doing? If when you're communicating with a child, with a subordinate, with someone who is a superior, and although I hate those two terms, I'm trying to give you a visual, with someone who has a higher position in the company or a peer, and you're saying things you don't know are very ineffective, when do you want to know you're saying those things? When do you want to know about those blind spots? Or are you comfortable getting hit by them constantly? Like a child who goes to their peers to learn how to have how to be happy, how to have drugs, how to have sex, how to have whatever. Are you comfortable being in that position? Or do you want to know what those blind spots look like? Let me give you a few examples of blind spots. Number one, a dad talking to a child. You know, son, when I was your age, do you have any idea what your son is thinking when you start a sentence with that? He has no idea why him being his age is important. That's a blind spot. All right, mom and dad talking to their daughter. Honey, why can't you just obey? Why can't you just do what we say? Why can't you be like your sister? Anytime you start with why can't you, it's another blind spot. They are subconsciously tuning out just like that. They don't care what you're saying. That's uncomfortable. That's a judging position. Business to business. If you just listen to me for a minute, this also works in spouses, doesn't it? You see what's going on here? You're a blind spot. Imagine someone saying that to you. If you'd just listen. Where's all the responsibility being pointed? Where's the blaming going? Where's the justifying going? If you're aware of how important or how harmful these circumstances are, maybe you'd think twice before you say it. One more. Well, to be honest with you, Sue, we need... All right, so what was he before he was honest? And who cares about what we need? Do you see what these are doing? These are so critical in their approaches that if you knew what was going on, maybe you would change them. If this is what you want, keep going. Blind spots come in many different fashions, but you know what? Here's how I typically see someone who lives in a world of blind spots. That is me-centric. It's all about me. I know. I'm smarter. Why don't they ever do it right? All right, let's go over a few of the words. That's what I've been saying all along. See, I told you so. But I'm right, they're wrong. Why should I change? They're the ones who need to change. I'm the one who's right. Don't you see what I'm saying? Or do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the common theme here of where all the fingers are pointed, all the arrows are going? I already know that. I know that already. Yeah, I know. When you're talking to people who use these kinds of vocabulary and these kinds of phrases and sentences, how do you feel? Well, most people, when they're polled, this is what's going on. Do you ever wonder why people don't communicate with you effectively or why people don't want to listen to you? Do you have an abundance of opinions? Is your supply so high that there's no demand? Do you see what happens? Every single one of these creates a blind spot. These blind spots are harmful to you communicating effectively. As long as you continue going down the road of these blind spots, that means you're seeking agreement. You're going to be constantly frustrated in every facet of your life. And if you ever wonder why you're frustrated, maybe looking in the mirror might help you a little bit. You see, when who is right trumps what is right, you've got a problem. To continue learning more about this, go to the next video. Here's the subjects we're going to talk about. We're going to first review a success formula that works every single time. We're going to define effective communication to make sure that we're semantically saying the same thing to each other here, that what I'm saying is what you're hearing. And then we're going to discuss the difference between conflict and contention. Just understanding the difference between the two can oftentimes patch up a marriage of 10, 20, 30 years of misunderstandings. The minute we get to the understanding that conflict is okay, contention is not. Thanks for spending some time with me. Bye now.